We're at Advertising Week Europe, and I'm delighted to say we're joined by Louise Court, who is Editor-in-Chief of Cosmopolitan. Louise, thank you very much.
Thank you.
You've hot-footed it from a session about feminism. And my first question to you is, why aren't there more women working in the UK magazine industry?
I mean, I think the problem isn't getting women to come and work in the magazine industry, but I think, and today we weren't just talking about magazines, we were talking about the whole of media, so we were talking about newspapers, we were talking about advertising. And I think one of the challenges of is getting women in those senior positions.
And your session was called, do you use the F word? And is there, I'd have thought in 2013 we should have got over that, and everyone, should call themselves a feminist now. But do you still detect through your readership of Cosmopolitan that people are still wary of it? I mean, what puts them off? Why wouldn't you be a feminist?
I mean, we should have got over it, absolutely. But I think what's Cosmopolitan had a big "We Use the F Word" campaign last year to time with our 40th birthday, and we did a big survey amongst young women, and you say to them, do you think you're equal to a man? Yes. Should you have the same opportunities as a man? Yes. Would you say you're a feminist? And then people get a bit sticky about that. A lot of women don't like the word, and they feel it feels combative of women against women, and you have to have your sort of feminist stripes. I'm more feminist than you are. Whereas the basic premise is, do you as a man believe in women having the same rights as women? Yes. So therefore you're a feminist, and I believe the same thing, and I'm a feminist. But it has become a taboo word, so it's really important to reclaim it. And one of the points that was raised at the discussion that we had earlier is because a lot of the senior positions are held by men, it's not, progression of women isn't going to be a #1 topic on their mind. So it's really important to remind people that actually, yeah, we've won some battles, but there's a lot more battles to be won.
And aside from issues of childcare and bringing up families and the problems that poses, do you come across sort of blatant sexism in the industry? Still?
Not now. I mean, when I first started out, I did. There was a time when I was working for a newspaper, and it was back in the 80s, and tight rubber dresses had first come in. And they said, "Oh, Louise, we'd like you to go out in this tight rubber dress to gauge what the response of people is to it," because it was quite shocking then. And they said, and David will come with you and write the piece up. And I just thought, I don't think so. But I didn't have the courage to say, no, I don't think so. So I pretended I had a rubber rash. And they had to get someone else to do it.
Which newspaper was that? Or would
I'm
you rather
not
not say?
going to tell you.
Okay, I'll have to get Google out later. Okay, well, you alluded to it there about the fact it's not just a magazine issue, but also we've seen the last couple of years surveys have shown how few women speakers there are on Radio 4's Today programme, for instance, across BBC Radio and across TV as well. And we had the whole Crunchfile thing where Miriam O'Reilly and a lot of older women were dropped from the show. I mean, is that something you campaign about in Cosmopolitan?
I mean, we just our big campaign we do is to the young women themselves, to make them feel that they can go out there and they can achieve what they want. And the big mantra of Cosmo is being the best you can be, and you decide what that is. So if you want to be a CEO, then you should be able to go out all guns blazing and go there. But you shouldn't also feel this huge pressure that you've got to have a massive career if you don't want a career. So it's about choices and making women feel that they have choices about their lives.
And finally, tell me about Cosmo. I mean, it's a tough time in the women's magazine sector, like it is in the men's magazine sector. I mean, how do you see it shaping up? How are sales going to go back up again?
I think the exciting thing about a massive brand like Cosmo is our audience is growing all the time. We've increased our audience by 1 million over the last year through digital editions, through growing on our website, through social media, through print specials that we put out as standalones that cover a lot of the core pillars of the magazine. So it's just, we're part of a media revolution, which actually makes it very exciting. But it's not just about having this one magazine that comes out once a month, because that's not how people consume media, do they? They consume it in lots of different ways all the time.
Okay, Louise Court, thank you very much.
Thank you.